What up? What up? What up? It's Reckley Podcast, man. It's episode 110. It's your boy, Randy Little. 110 episodes, man. If you watching, if you listening, you know what it is by now. You know who I am. You know the usual suspects that weave in and out of this. This episode, we got Nick, Rocket, my man Legacy came through. And this is the second, because April was light. April was so light, and we missed March. So I'm playing catch up, talking about stuff I wanted to talk about in March. We cover a little CinemaCon, but then we also do Scream 6 spoilers. If you have not seen Scream 6, this is not the episode for you. We also talk John Wick Chapter 4 spoilers. If you have not seen John Wick Chapter 4, this is not the episode for you. After you've seen those movies, come back, listen, watch, laugh, have some fun, comment your opinions of each movie. The participation is dope, but we do spoil, so don't let us ruin the movie for you right now. This is your warning. And if you're on YouTube and you click the timestamp to jump right into the conversation because you don't like my first couple minutes of the episode rambling, you played yourself. And so you ain't even going to hear this. So you played yourself double time. You doubled down on the playing yourself. Quickly, theatrically, since the last episode, we've gotten, I ain't gonna hold you, I don't even know what came out last weekend. Ghosted, Chris Evans on a DR Moss is on Apple TV Plus. Evil Dead Rise came out. Chevalier, I think, came out. Ray Romano directed a very limited release somewhere in Brooklyn. And 6 movies came out on the reel. I just don't remember all 6 of them. This current weekend, Peter Pan and Wendy, the live-action reimagining of Peter Pan, is on Disney Plus. And Big George Foreman and Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret, and something else came out to the theaters. This up in between the next couple episodes. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is coming next weekend, and then Book Club, the next chapter, I think, comes out the weekend of the next episode. So jumping into the physical media releases, we got some Dead Air. We got Cocaine Bear came out on Blu-ray. Magic Mike's Last Dance, Marlowe came out on Blu-ray. Magic Mike's Last Dance and Marlowe came out on Blu-ray. Gang of shit got re-released. This past Tuesday, I never looked into what Triangle of Sadness is, but that came out on physical. Cheers, the complete box set, the complete series, got upgraded to Blu-ray. Paramount, I love you. That Justice League RWBY animated movie came out. Jesus Revolution came out. This upcoming Tuesday, Champions with Woody Harrelson comes out. 80 for Brady comes out. It looks like the Star Wars trilogy, the original Star Wars trilogy, is getting some ugly ass steelbooks. The Tuesday before the next episode, the original run of Superman movies is getting 4K releases. Knock at the Cabin comes out. It looks like Yellowstone Season 5, or the first half, Season 5 Part 1 or whatever, comes out. And again, stick around. We have a very fun discussion, and I rhyme to close out as I do every episode. It's Reckley Podcast. Hey, back at it. Episode 110 out here. I think I might be missing at my own count. But y'all know who I am, man. I got Nick. I finally got a Saturday off to attend the podcast. Good, man. I got Rocket. My Aaron Rodgers New York Jets jersey is on pre-order, Raccoon. I got Legacy because we had to have a black guy.
Okay.
Yo, I know what I said at the end of last episode, first hour, but I didn't know CinemaCon was a thing. So, like, what jumped out to y'all about CinemaCon, Nick?
Mostly, like, I don't know, like the Flash stuff.
The Flash
like
trailer, Transformers trailer.
Yeah, like, they did the trailer, and we all knew, like, there was a new trailer coming. So it was like, oh, cool. And then they did, like, a whole screening of it, like, for people. So, like, the fact that they have that much confidence in the movie.
I'm hearing nothing negative.
Yeah. I haven't heard. I'm not reading. I really try not to read, like, specifics. But it's like you skim Twitter or whatever, and people are like, oh, it's as good as you want it to be. And it's like, okay.
Cool.
But, like, I haven't seen anything. I haven't seen any, like, just skimming. I haven't seen anybody being like, if I could change one thing, like, it's all been like, holy shit, The Flash is amazing. Holy shit.
Yeah. It's like Zaslav. I've heard Zaslav like, oh, The Flash is one of the best all-time comic book movies ever in the history of cinema. But you run the studio, so of course you feel that way. It's not like you're gonna watch Guardians of the Galaxy 3 and say that shit. Yeah,
but it's like they've got James Gunn on the red carpet doing Guardian stuff right now. They're just asking him about the Flash, so I'm like, that's got to be good, right? Like the hype for it, that's spells out good. Also, yeah,
we're here and we're recording, and I'm completely blanking on like everything. We got a Transformers trailer. Saw 10 takes place in between the first two. I didn't watch the Hunger Games trailer because I kind of just want to see it in the theater. I don't remember anything else off the top of my head. Rocket?
I knew this Flash movie was going to deliver, though.
Yeah. I mean, the one that sticks out to me is the Flash trailer, because it's overshadowing everything else, because that's what everybody else is talking about.
While it was good, wasn't it just like a little bit of new shit and a remix of the first trailer?
Yeah, but I like that, though, because it's not giving too much away. I think lately trailers, what they do is I remember growing up, you got one trailer. That's it.
Bruh.
I remember when Blade 2 came out, I went to go see a movie, and it was part of the trailers. That's how I found out Blade 2 was coming out. There was like nothing on TV, nothing. I went to the theater and all that. I feel like nowadays you get
way too much
trailer. Then you get your first official trailer. Then you get the second trailer.
Trailers for the trailer.
I mean, you get the final. If you piece all three trailers, for the most part, you got the movie. I mean, I think sometimes they give too much away in these trailers.
Facts.
Sometimes. It's happening all the time now. And I brought this up to Randy not too long ago, that I've completely stopped watching trailers altogether because I want to go to a movie. I want a movie to still be able to shock me, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And by the time you watch 4 or 5 trailers, there was stuff that happened, and this is when we're like rating movies and we're seeing how good they were or whatever. Part of that for us is shock value, right? There was parts of Shazam, right, that if I didn't see it in the trailer and I only saw it in the movie would have been better to me coming out of it, right? But when you see these things in the trailer, then you already see the movie. You already know that happened.
Yeah.
Then you come out of the movie feeling like you didn't get anything that you weren't expecting.
But yo, like, check it out.
Movie not knowing anything.
Universal and Peacock put out the Twisted Metal teaser. Anthony Mackie driving, some quirky, not off-tone music playing. We got the ice cream truck and the clown that everybody knows from the game. That's all we need. Don't put out shit else. Wait till July. Let's watch the show.
Exactly.
I was thinking, and this is kind of like a stupid example, but yesterday I was watching that movie, is Return to Neverland. It was the sequel to Peter Pan that they put out, was it like 40, 50 years later. It was in theaters. And I can remember watching the movie, it made me remember when I saw that trailer for the first time in a theater. That movie came out in February. I re-looked it up just because I was like, when was that? I remember it was like Christmas time. So it was like maybe November at the earliest, maybe December of like 2000. I went and saw something in the theater with like my mom, and the trailer for that movie came on. And the trailer was just one scene from the movie. The pirate ship shows up at Wendy's house. They take the little girl and take her to Neverland, and then it was like Return to Neverland. And I remember looking at I could just remember being like, what the fuck? Like, there's a sequel to Peter Pan, and it came out in February, so it was like 2.5, 3 months tops, and I had never even heard of it prior to going to the theater. And I remember being, what? Oh shit! And like, the movie was fine. Like, that wasn't the point. Like, it was just like, like seeing. There's 2 movies I've watched recently. It was Evil Dead Rise, and yesterday I went and saw that movie Sisu. They were both great movies, but they showed way too much in the trailers. Had they showed less in the trailers, they would be like instant classics that everybody would be talking about right now. But Evil Dead showed way too much with the trailer. Like, the cheese grater in the trailer, if that had just been in the movie, there'd be way more reactions. And then Sisu
promoting the shit out of that movie.
Yeah.
Evil Dead movies everywhere, man. There are Evil Dead movies everywhere. I got 2 things, just real quick. I got 2 things. The Flash movie, I've known from jump it was going to be good, and I don't like Ezra Miller. That's straight up. I just don't like that.
Nah.
Movie. But I knew this Flash movie was going to be good because they put all of their eggs in one basket in this one movie. They're giving us everything that we wanted in a superhero movie, all in this one movie. You want time travel, you're going to get that. You want the throwback characters and the fanfare, you're going to get that. You want them to fix some of the narratives that's happened in the history of, then you're going to, like, they took all of their eggs and said, we're going to put it in this one. They've been trying to save this movie for years.
I'm expecting the Flash No Way Home.
Every time Ezra Miller does something wrong, they just get really quiet for a while, and then they come back like, no, but we got this movie. Like, they've been doing that because they know, like, this one is going to deliver.
Ezra, chill the fuck out. You are not fucking up our bag.
You're not fucking this one up for us.
I got a fun fact for you guys. Got a fun fact. When Grant Gustin on the CW Flash, when it dropped episode 1, that's when they announced this Flash movie. 9 seasons have just passed, and we're finally getting the movie. How crazy
isn't that when like Man of Steel had just come out, right? And Warner Brothers like announced their Phase 1, a Cyborg movie, a Green Lantern Corps movie that we never got.
The Suicide Squad. The Suicide Squad 2. Harley Quinn movie. Joker movie. Joker, and it was the worst time of my life. Like, I just remember being like, none of this is coming out.
Bro, the Flash, that announcement had the Flash scheduled for like 2018.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what, like, people are comparing this to, like, the Jonathan Majors stuff that's going on. And I get it. I get the comparison. I get it. Like, oh, we're not treating Ezra Miller the same way. It's like, I get it. But it's like nobody is like everybody's kind of forgetting. It's like this movie has been made. I
mean, also Ezra got dragged. It's just Warner Brothers didn't fire him.
And Ezra Miller also doesn't have anything to my knowledge lined up after this. To my knowledge, I don't know. Like everything DC, they're like, oh, we don't know. We'll see how it happens.
Yeah,
but it's not.
Majors is the new Thanos.
After this movie, he will though. Jonathan Majors became so big so quick though. See that's the difference. Is that Ezra was like, oh okay, yeah, all right, cool. He messed up again. Jonathan Majors at that point,
the 2 biggest villains of the year within 3 weeks.
Yeah, got so much shit in the work. Like he's got like, what's that magazine movie that's supposed to go? Like they've already got it slated to come out. Like
Magazine Dream. Magazine Dream.
Yeah. Yep. He's shit in the works already. It's like Ezra Miller, once the Flash comes out, he's jobless basically. Like it's not like they're maybe a Flash 2 or whatever, but it's not like people are gonna be like ringing their door. Sorry. Since
Chadwick passed, Jonathan Majors was literally the biggest star in Hollywood. Let's be honest. Like if without this stuff going on right now, he surpassed Michael B. Jordan. Let's be honest. Like when you really think about it, Jonathan Majors was more of a one in Hollywood, hotter than Michael B. Jordan right now. Hotter than he was the hottest actor in Hollywood. And there's no way you could argue it. It's simple. This dude he had an Airplane movie, he had a Creed movie, he had an Ant-Man movie.
It's called Devotion.
Yeah.
It was an airplane.
It was an Airplane movie, man. That's the black person to me, man. It's like, oh yeah, that Airplane.
It was the Airplane movie with Glenn Powell that didn't have Tom Cruise.
And the funny thing is, Merritt, you're right, because I remember I would go to
sure.
the theater and there would be 7 trailers, and half the trailers, 3 of the 7 would be about Devotion, Creed coming up, Ant-Man. And you also got to remember, the first time I saw Jonathan Majors was in a movie called Captive State.
Yeah.
He's on the bus.
That shit was ass.
That was the first time. Next thing I know, he's in the show called on HBO, Lovecraft Country.
Lovecraft Country.
That's when he blew up.
Listen, when Creed came out, after Ant-Man came out and Creed came out, because Lovecraft Country was so good. I was so
upset when they canceled
it. It was so good, and they canceled it. After these movies came out, in my mind, I was just waiting for it, but I'm like, yo, they're going to find a way to bring Lovecraft Country back. They only did 1 season. He's so hot right now. They're going to find a way to do that. I just knew it. It won't happen now. I don't think.
Nah.
I'm not.
Yeah, decadent sitting somewhere like, oh, thank God. Oh, God. I don't have to spend money on Lovecraft Country.
Somebody was going to do it, though, because, listen, he had gotten that big, man.
Yeah, it's like he had the #1 movie for a couple weeks, and then new movie with him came out, and then he had the #1 and #2 movie. That doesn't happen. Like, that happened to DiCaprio back in the day. He did Titanic, and then The Men on the Iron Mask came out. So he had the #1 and #2 movies. And then Tom Holland, like, what was that, last year?
Yeah.
Spider-Man were #1 and #2. That's because nothing was coming out, really.
Yeah.
That doesn't really happen very often, but it totally happened.
They made, but all the Jonathan Majors movies being #1 like that also made The Harder They Fall on Netflix rise back up to their main list, like their, you know what I'm saying, like hottest movies right now list. So like, yeah, he was that's crazy to me.
So here's the $1 million question though. Magazine Dream. That's where the Oscar buzz coming from. He's gonna supposedly they want to nominate him and all that. Does that movie even come out anymore?
In a couple years.
I don't know, but that's everybody's like, oh, we're treating this
because it kind of reminds me.
Very good.
It's a totally different movie, City of Lies.
Yeah.
Like the story about Tupac and Biggie and all that with Johnny Depp. Remember, that movie was done, and they pushed it back a year or 2 before they even released it. And that thing had like a small window at the theater, and then it came out on physical media.
It was like,
and you know, so does something like that happen with Magazine Dream? You know, because they say this is the performance of a lifetime that he put in, and he's already great. So do they hold that back? That's why I think Disney is in the holding pattern to see what happens with what's going on.
Yeah, bro.
Hopefully, not everything.
You can't just refilm the Loki season.
Exactly.
The court decision is going to decide everything. If he's found not guilty, then the fans are going to be like, I told you he didn't do that, and it's going to go.
Yep. We're good. We're good.
Disney's going to be back online, and everything else is going to be back online. If it's anything other than that,
it's going to get interesting.
Disney have somebody in their like PR department that works harder than anybody like in the entire.
Disney got a Jeffrey from Bel Air on the roster.
Yeah, like even like Bill Murray was in Quantum Mania, and like there's always some shit that gets stirred up with Bill Murray, and so all of a sudden, it like on Twitter and all of a sudden it was nowhere. And it was like, where did it go? Why did people stop bitching about Bill Murray? And it's like, oh, because he's in Quantum Mania all of a sudden. But even like, Like, you look at, there's a lot of Marvel actors that they don't even talk about that have had shit. They were like, Michael Douglas had a Me Too thing. And it was amazing. He came out before, like, somebody figured out that somebody was going to come forward with some kind of Me Too thing against Michael Douglas. He came out before the person and said, just letting y'all know, like, tomorrow, some woman is going to say something about me, and it's not true. And that totally happened. And, like, nothing, like, he did, like, four for him.
But it's two things. One of them y'all ain't going to want to hear. Neither of them you really don't want to hear. The first one
Spit that
is
shit.
Black men in Hollywood. It doesn't work the same way. That's
true.
That's reality. Black men in Hollywood, he don't get to mess up the same way as Bill Murray.
Nah,
right?
bro, because if that was Eddie Murphy instead of Michael Douglas, it wouldn't matter if he come out the day before.
Like, it wouldn't, you know what I'm saying? That's that. The second one is Marvel, Hollywood in general, society in general, but definitely Marvel, like right now, is super on the women's empowerment thing, right? So specifically what this case is about, if it says anything besides not guilty, Jonathan Majors got to go.
Bro, there's
Absolutely.
there's that group of motherfuckers that he was accused, so he did it. So
But that ain't gonna be big enough to
I
stop.
hope.
If he's considered not guilty, the fan base right now, bro, to me he's king. Like, I don't even think you can replace him. Like, no, he's did enough already for me that I'm like, yo, if you put somebody else in here, I'm not gonna see it right. I'm not gonna see it the same way, right?
And I'll tell you this right now, Disney is in deep with him, so that's why they're letting it ride. Because, and the thing is this, Disney's in a, I hate to say this, like, it's gonna sound funny, they're in a good spot in the sense of this. What's happening in the MCU right now, it's about variants and this and that. It ain't no different than they're saying that something happened to that variant and it changed something, now somebody else could be king. Some people are saying maybe Jonathan Boyega, if there's a change, Boyega could take over.
I don't hate it.
But
I don't hate it.
Right now, if nothing happens, we're status quo, we're good to go.
Let's just get done. Do it again.
You know?
Speaking of status quo, good to go.
Listen, I'm gonna give y'all a funny take of what's gonna happen. Okay, this is gonna be it. So they replaced Terrence Howard with Don Cheadle.
Man.
Black Life, right? So they're probably gonna replace Jonathan Majors with Michael Ealy. They'll find the lightest man on earth. And
I said what? I even said why replace Terrence Howard with Michael Ealy? Not that they look alike, but they look more like.
No, listen. If you replace Terrence Howard with Michael Ealy, you're like, all right, cool. I get it. I get that, right? You can't replace the lightest man in Hollywood with the darkest man in Hollywood. They did that on Fresh Prince already. It was already terrible, right? Then they did it with them. So I'm guessing.
Am I the only one who don't hate light skin Aunt Viv?
I don't hate light skin Aunt Viv. You just can't replace her with her. Like, dark skin Aunt Viv was
true.
very slim. She was very slim, dark, like dark chocolate, very slim, athletic. They replaced her with the lightest woman they could find, who had more like a grandma type attitude and figure. Like it was grandma. A total. It wasn't like even like she was.
Yeah.
The Aunt Viv personality change, right?
Well, I always looked at it like Janet Hubert Aunt Viv was West Philly Aunt Viv, still had a little bit of hood ratchet where she came from, her roots, and then light-skinned Aunt Viv was like Bel Air Aunt Viv, sophisticated, rich as fuck. I don't even think in season 4, 5, and 6. I don't even think light-skinned Aunt Viv, Daphne Maxwell Reid, let's put it out there, ever brought up like being a teacher or dancing or any of that shit. She was just trying to raise Nikki.
She was just a mom.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I'm saying.
That's what they're gonna do with Kang. They're gonna be like, oh, that was Quantum Mania Kang. Michael Ealy, this is Victor Timely Kang. This is a complete Kang.
This Kang has his own dynasty.
Buy this.
Oh man.
But let's segue. This is gonna be the second makeup episode as far as talking about shit that we didn't do in March, Nick. So for the next block of time, we gonna talk spoilers if you haven't seen these movies. First, we gonna talk spoilers on Scream 6.
I knew I should have that shit when they put it on Paramount Plus.
I didn't watch it. I put it on for my wife, and when she was watching it, and I was peeking. I wasn't watching it though.
Damn it! But
So, Nick, why do you feel like last year's Scream is better than this year's Scream?
Oh, you feel like that?
Oh, because it was to me. So, okay, it's not that it was like super better, but like rewatching it, Randy and I are kind of in the same boat on that. Like, it's really, really, really good up until the reveal.
I hate last year's reveal.
I don't hate, but it was just kind of like a new Scream movie after like over 10 years, and they show the poster and they were just like, it's always somebody you know. The killer is on this poster. It was just like,
when there's literally Ghostface on the poster.
Yeah, and it was just like, I don't know. I wanted the rug pull, and it was just like, okay, so it's her. Oh, it was the boyfriend. Okay, we called it like an hour on that before. But prior to that, like, I didn't hate it. It just wasn't like, oh. But prior to that, that one feels so much like a Scream movie. The fact that Wes Craven didn't make it, I was like, wow, they really are doing him justice with this, because this feels like Scream to me. And then the end, it felt like Scream, but it was just kind of like, I wouldn't say I was let down, but I wasn't blown away. The new one didn't really feel as much like classic Scream, which I guess was the point.
Yeah.
Like, location change and all that. But, like, again, though, like, the reveal to me was just kind of underwhelming. Because
the initial opening surprised me so much that I was hooked for the rest of the movie. The Tony Ravioli shit was so good that I just loved the rest of it.
Yeah, like, that was cool. And then immediately started making me, like, I found myself going over, like, the lit, like, oh, who could it be? And, like, Kirby hadn't even shown up yet. And I was already, like, when he was like, who gives a fuck about movies? I was like, maybe it's Kirby. Maybe she's back and she's, like, renouncing movies and she's killing people that are doing Ghostface stuff. Like, oh, that might be interesting. Not that that would have been better than what we got, but I started immediately, like, going over. So you get to the end, and they're all in this movie theater, and they're talking about how the doors are, like, triple locked and nobody's going to get through here. So I was like, okay. So the killer is going to be anybody who isn't in the movie theater right now. Like, it's going to be whoever shows up. And then I was right. Like, the cop just runs in. I'm like, oh, so he just ran through the booby trap door. Okay. And then I immediately started thinking, we didn't see his daughter die. I bet it's her. Yeah, it's her. Then I was like, oh, there's another one? I'll bet it's the kid that isn't there. Yeah, I was like, it's either the kid that isn't there or the boyfriend that isn't there. And I was like, oh, there he is. The kid that isn't there. I was right. And I think that might be the first time that's ever happened.
Well, aren't you just Nick Stradamus?
Yeah, well, because, like, I remember watching Scream 2 for the first time, and I don't think that reveal is, like, an all-timer, but the fact that it was like, oh, it's Billy's mother. It's like a twist on the reveal. Because when you watch Scream 2...
Y'all know how I feel about Scream 2. I love it.
You watch Scream 2, it is kind of obvious that they are going to be the killers. Because there's like a whole half hour goes by where those two characters are not in the movie.
No.
And it's like, oh yeah, everyone else is dying.
Rewatching Scream 2, when Laurie Metcalf, like, dips out right after the Sarah Michelle Gellar death, I just think it's hilarious.
Yeah. I was like, why would Laurie...
And then the killer ends up at the other house.
Like, why would she be in this movie? She was pretty famous in the night. Like, she was on Roseanne. So it's like, she's enough that why would she be in this movie?
And she was in Toy Story. Fun fact.
Yeah. Yeah, she was. And it's like, of course it's Mickey. Why is he in every scene and then all of a sudden he's not in it for like 40 minutes? It's like, oh yeah. But there's a twist on it. So I still was like...
Derek bailed on my ass.
Yeah. Fuck. But anyway, I don't know if it... I don't know. New Screams they're not bowling me over. They're good, and I'm still excited for more, but they're not like... And also, everybody keeps getting stabbed and living.
Mason Gooding is a fucking
No,
pincushion.
they took a beating.
I'm tired of it. But,
Mason Gooding is new Dewey.
Like, yeah, not only that, though. They're all getting knifed, like, in the gut at least once. Like, hard. Like, in 5, what's her name? The lead girl, I mean, she got, like, he twisted the shit and all this stuff. And Sydney got stabbed in the gut. Gail got shot. And at the end, they're all just, like, standing outside talking. And it's like, get in an ambulance. Like, what is happening? They've just got Jenna Ortega, like, in the ambulance, like, and it's like, you all got stabbed and shot, and that same thing happened again in this one. Like, the girl on the subway just comes running out of nowhere. It's like, guys, oh, you'll never believe it. And it's like, aren't you dead? Like, how are you not dead right now? How are you running? We all got stabbed, and we're all just standing around, like, hugging. And then it's like, oh, I just miss, what's his name? And he gets wheeled out on the stretcher. And I was like, you have to kill somebody. You have to kill Randy every now and then, or else
you shut it.
Yeah, you have to pick somebody.
You bite your tongue.
Yeah,
but like,
I didn't really want to say this. No, I did want to say this part. I actually loved 5 and 6. Okay, I loved both movies. So coming from somebody who loved both movies, because Randy knows this. I didn't watch 5 at the theaters. And actually, last year was like a bad movie year for me. Like, I didn't get to see a lot of movies at the movie theater. I waited a long time to watch ScreamVI. I think I only watched it because the Halloween movie was coming in theaters, and I was just in that mood at that time. When I watched it, though, I immediately called and was like, yo, I love this movie. Like, I love ScreamVI. Because it did feel like they went back to the roots, and they started to build a super team. And saying that, I didn't want to agree with Nick, but I do have some agreements with Nick. Like, I think both movies did some things better than the others. And for instance, both intro scenes for both movies were incredible, right?
Yeah.
I remember being at the movie in ScreamVI, and they had the girl, you know, in the kitchen doing her thing or whatever, that opening scene, and I watched it and I was like, yo, that was incredible. And I actually think for a Scream movie, that intro scene from 5 was better than the intro scene from 6. But the intro from 6 surprised me more. Like, I was like, look, I'm looking at it from, like, if you're a Scream fan, what they did in 5 was more historical. Like, that's like, that was more like, oh yeah, this is a Scream movie right here.
It was more Drew Barrymore.
It was like the same as they usually do, but it was waiting like a year to rewatching it before 6. It was more like tense than I remember.
Yeah,
it was tense. Like, it was like tense.
When he kept just unlocking the door as soon as she locked it. That shit.
Just like, letting it sit for a year and then rewatching it, like not seeing the trailer with the same scene over and over, and like just rewatching it. I was like, oh, this is mean. He's like a mean good compared to the other ones. Like,
but in 6, so they introduced us to the teacher, right, or whatever that lady was. I don't know what she was.
She was a teacher assistant or some shit.
Yeah. From the time they showed her, I was like, yeah, it's a wrap for her. I don't even know who she is, but that's a wrap, right? In 5, the first character that you got was going to be one of your main characters, right? So you were immediately invested in her, right? In 6, they gave us one that you didn't know if you were going to be invested in or not, but you knew, like, yeah, I don't think she's going to make it. I don't even know who she is, right? They kill her off, right? And then there was a second there that we were like, are we going to know who the killer is the whole time?
Yeah.
That could be dope. But that's not very Scream-like, right? That's different, right? And that's what I'm saying. Is like, I appreciated 5's intro. Like, I liked it better as a Scream fan, but 6 surprised me more. But in 6, bruh, that dude should have been dead, bro. They had him on his knees 3 different people stabbing over. Like, we watched him just get. And honestly, if we be real, the way that scene played out, it was the perfect way for him to die and that be a successful scene for the movie. Because he like they had just fell in like where they they kind of always liked each other, but they kind of first like they announced it and they kissed and it was like the whole thing, and then she had to watch him die. It was like a scene that was like the perfect scene for him. Like it was like he went out like a gangster, like you know what I'm saying? Like it was dope.
Yeah.
But when they brought him back, it kind of took away. It was like, damn.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Let's break right quick. Now everything y'all just said off wax, say that shit again. Run that shit back.
I compare Scream 5 like reveal. I compare to 4, whereas it's almost like the opposite. 4 is good, not great. 4 is good, but to me, the reveal of 4 sends 4 to a new level because for what reason, I didn't think it was Jill at all. Like she wasn't even in my head. I was like, she's too much. Maybe I was young and naive, but I was just like, she's too much the main character. It's all focused around her. She didn't even enter my brain. And the dude was sitting there tied to the chair. The way they did it, where it's like she untied him and then he just stabbed her. I was like, even if in that moment, I wasn't thinking, maybe it's him. Because he was tied to the chair. So I was like, at least now it's not him. And then it was. And then it was her. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? And then she started throwing herself onto the table and into the wall and like stabbing herself and ripping her hair out. I was like, what
this
the
bitch
fuck?
Is crazy.
Yeah, and then she got away with it. She was in the hospital. Like people were outside like tweeting about her and stuff. I was like, this is nuts. And then she was this close.
My thing is never the reveal. My thing is always the motive.
Yeah.
The Scream 22 reveal, cool in the game. It's the how can fandom be toxic? We love it so much. It's bullshit. Jack Quaid's likable because he's in The Boys, but the motive was trash. The motive for Scream 6 was way more simple. Revenge. It was dope.
But they've done that already. Like, that's just Scream.
They've done it. Yeah, I agree. They've done it.
I don't care.
In both cases.
I don't care. Look, when Dermot Mulroney came out from looking at the daughter's death scene, he made a comment about losing multiple children. I feel like I'm the only one in the theater that caught that shit.
No, you're not.
I don't even remember now. But I did, like, once it was like, oh, it's the cop. And then you're like, well, who were the other ones? I was like, well, we didn't see his daughter die. That's a red flag. He just came flying out the door. And I was thinking, like,
bro. That's what I'm saying. I knew when I met the cop and he was being all super helpful and they was trying to make him like the old cop, like he was gonna fit that figure. I was like, yeah.
In the moment, watching it live in the moment, I'm fucking putty. When he was putting it on Kirby in the theater, I was like, damn, would Kirby really do that shit?
That's how I thought too. That's what I thought too. Like, the way it worked out, yeah, you could hear things, you could listen to things, it's, and try to connect it all. But at one point, I was like you, Randy, when he was blaming it on Kirby, I was like, shit, PTSD.
Yeah.
It brought me back to the Saw movie. Like, she, something to that effect where, she started doing the same thing. I was thinking, she is now a cop. She's an agent. What perfect person to get away with stuff and plan stuff and set up and make it look a certain way. So when he mentioned that, I was like, no, don't let it be. But, like you said, the motive, the revenge factor makes sense. Like in Scream 5, Jack Quaid, played it off, did well. It's not so much the reveal, but like I said, before we went back live, it was what took me a little bit out of the movie it was him and the girl. She's the one that stabbed Dewey. Dewey's a big guy.
Oh, bro, we've been talking about that shit for like 17 months.
Bro, and I'm like I'm like, you gotta be kidding me, man. Really? You know what I mean?
She did not deadlift 230-pound Dewey.
What's with the original Scream is the original. Not much is gonna beat that. But when you had, two killers same build, same height. That made sense. You know, it's like I'm Ghostface, and my partner's a midget. You know what I mean? It's like it ain't good, but yet it's all balanced. Like, how does that even work? And I think that's what took me out of the way. Like, I love both 5 and 6. I just think 6 is slightly better than 5, just for a couple of few things. Like, Mason Good and getting stabbed. Merritt, I agree with you. That's the way to go out. You're a hero. You defend it. I thought I was like, man, I was disappointed because I liked his character. Oh, he's gone. But then when he came back out, I was happy. But then I was like, but that killed that scene. It took a lot away from it. If
Mason Gooding gives himself up to save Melissa Barrera, Jenna Ortega, and he dies, that's it. They profess their love for each other. That completely would have remolded the Jenna Ortega character in 7. But now they're together and they're all happy and it's the same old shit.
Yeah. And you're telling me, like, what's her name? She was on the subway. Like, they got separated. She's on the subway.
One of the killers.
With the killer. Now, he didn't stab her. I'm assuming that was the sister on the subway.
That's the sister.
Okay, but, like, he took her outside and, like, sat her down and was like, oh, call the cops or whatever. What the fuck? Like, how did she get to the hospital? Like, how did she
would have just died, bro. Yeah. That's what it would have happened. In New York, too, she would have just fucking died sitting there, bro. That's what it would have happened.
Yeah, it would have taken an ambulance an hour and a half to get to her.
Oh, trust me, I know. Yep, you're right. And the thing is, like Nick said,
none of those people would have helped her. They would have kept going and off.
Yeah.
No. Like Nick said, though, too, is the killer is the daughter, stabs her. How the hell did she go from there to there that fast? Were they going the same way? It's like...
somebody would have been like, oh, it's Sally or whatever the fuck her name is. Like, she's not dead. And if the dude hadn't done that, she'd been like, oh, you're probably the killer, aren't you? Because you're not surprised that she's still alive. So it's like, how did... I don't know if they're full-on plot holes, but like...
in these kind of movies, and that's why with the 5 and 6, like, I think it's a preference thing up rip, because you can 1-for-1 the shit out of 5 and 6. You can 1-for-1 the shit out of 5 and 6, because for me, like Nick said, from the time I saw that cop, from the time I saw him, I was like, they're not gonna give us a new dude. His character was so legendary. They're not gonna give us another one, but they're gonna give us a cop to make us think that they're going to give us, he's the killer. From jump, I knew Kirby from jump was smoke and mirrors. Oh, let's bring back a legend character, which they did in 5, right? Let's bring back a legend character, make it look like it's her the whole time. Because when you think about it, they was pointing the finger at her the whole movie in 6.
Yeah,
the whole movie.
Yeah, it's right after her first scene, he wanted her paperwork.
Before she even shipped, I was thinking, what if it's Kirby? What if it's Kirby? Then the more they did that, and then at the end, he was like, it's Kirby. She's not really. I was like, no, it's not.
They would like to see all the way. They held that all the way until that actual reveal. You think about it, when they got locked in the theater, they blamed them being locked in the theater on Kirby too.
Yep.
All of it. So in my mind, I was like, think about it. If it had been Kirby, y'all would have been more pissed.
Oh yeah,
I would have been upset. I get that. What happened to Matthew Lillard's character?
It depends on her reveal. It depends on her motive.
His head got smashed by a television
in 1996. So it was a square box television.
Man, see, they keep saying he's not dead, but like I'm pretty sure he's dead.
Yeah. No, somebody behind the scenes confirmed Stu's dead.
That Stu's dead, right?
Yeah.
They just like having fun with the fans.
Yeah. But not like I wouldn't like if they would have explained, well, all of this since 2011. This is why I'm killing everyone. This is why I have all these historical artifacts from all the killings, all the murders. If it would have been a cool enough motive, I would have rolled with Kirby.
I thought that, like I said, when who gives a fuck about movies? My immediate thought before she was even in the movie, I was like, what if in like 10 years, Kirby's like restructured her whole life and she's like, fuck movies, fuck anybody that does this, fuck this like cult that because it affected her life so personally. I was like, that's kind of cool. So I was
Yeah.
already turning in my head before she was even in the movie. And then once she got in the movie, it was immediately like, how do we know it's Kirby? And I'm like, well, this is pretty Scream. Like, they're standing around in the park talking about.
You know what
it
just
could be-
hit me? Within the first 15 minutes, they told us the killer's motive. Because Tony Ravioli and his friend was going to kill Jenna Ortega and Melissa Barrera on behalf of Jack Quaid the whole time.
Yep, that's true.
Yeah.
Looking back at it now. Yeah.
We've kind of like deciphered between 5 and 6, going back and forth. So it's kind of forced us to beat up on these movies a little bit, right? To do that.
Dude, I like them.
No, I love them too, but I'm just saying.
This is my favorite horror franchise, period.
Whenever you compare two things, you kind of sometimes point out the negative things in the comparison.
Yeah, for sure. Like,
but moving away from that, in this movie, that ladder scene, oh my god, that shit was crazy.
Yep.
What the ladder? When they was trying to cross over to the other.
That's cool. Yeah.
That whole apartment sequence might have been the best in the movie.
I agree.
Why did he have a ladder just in his apartment? Is that normal?
Nah.
Maybe it's painting. I don't know. So
maybe he got it out of the hallway. Maybe they were like doing some stuff and all. He saw it.
I don't ladder. Ooh, I need
Hey, most people are gonna call him old boy from She-Hulk, but Josh Segura to me is one of the best villains in all of any season of Arrow. And
I just think he was one of the CEOs on Orange is the New Black. That's all. He was like making popcorn. That's all.
Yeah. Mason Gooding. They just kept calling him New Guy.
Yeah.
So before we move on, here's the $1 million question.
We got 20 minutes of Scream left.
Oh.
Do you think
Ladder,
whether it's Scream 7 or Scream 8, who knows how far this franchise goes?
Scream 8, the
Neve Campbell comes back.
She'll come back.
Do you think she comes back for 7?
I don't know when, but she'll come back.
That was one. I don't want to say that was one of the best things about 6, but her not being in 6, it was like, how do you do a Scream without Neve Campbell? I'm like, honestly,
they did it pretty well.
Yeah, they did.
Why would she be in New York? To me, Gail was kind of shoehorned in there. She didn't need to be there.
Her show was in New York in the last one.
Yeah, they mentioned that's why she was leaving. Even
still, I was
she may have been shoehorned into the plot for sure.
Yeah,
but she was in New York in the last movie. But like, I want to say this shit. We put this shit in the group chat. Like Nick brought it up. Like Scream 4 until the reveal feels a lot like 3, and then and then the reveal elevates that shit. 5 for me feels like amazing, like damn near 1. Right. Until the reveal, and then it scales back.
Yeah. But they're both comparing Halloween Ends.
Trash.
Hills.
Oh, God.
And it's like, oh, God. No, like, that's the thing. I'm just very passionate. Like, Scream is, like, my favorite movie ever. So I feel like every time a new Scream is going to come out, I'm going to, like, nitpick it a little harder. But it's still not a little like, oh, so you didn't like it? It's like, no, I loved it.
Me and Mary have this about music all the time. The shit you love, you escalate and you fine tooth comb way harder.
Yeah, it's me. Whenever Green Day put out something, it's like I've liked Green Day since I was 4.
By Green Day, you mean J. Cole, but go off.
No, yeah, J. Cole. I've liked J. Cole since I was 4, even though we're probably like the same age.
No, but I agree with Nick. And not with just this movie, but in general. I tell Randy this all the time. Just because a franchise has a Jerry West to the NBA logo, right? Just because a franchise have that, if they're not in a movie, it's okay, right? It's okay. Sometimes it does a movie justice to be able to tell a story and not have to fit somebody into it, right? Which I felt like Creed just did, right?
Yeah,
and I felt like
facts.
they did with this movie, with Scream. Like, it's okay that we have a story. This story's in New York, but she's not. Or we have a story, this Creed story. They're now in LA, and
Rocky's in
he's
Philly.
not, Rocky's not there, and then we have to tell this story still, and he's not in the movie. Those
Really?
things are okay.
That I felt like Rocky should have been there. Only one part of Creed 3.
I agree.
But
Yeah.
there was no part.
We covered it.
Oh, well, yeah, if we've already done, I wasn't on it. If we've already done Creed
I
3.
wasn't either. I wasn't.
No, yeah. Like me, Rocket, and Eric talked about it. Rocky should have been at the funeral scene.
He
Well,
should have
he's a
been.
phone call.
They
Well,
could
he's a
have
phone
had
call.
That's the only time, that I would have been like, he would have been there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Rocky could have told him what he needed to hear in one scene. It would have bumped Creed 3's rating up for me. Just one scene.
Yeah.
I know,
I agree.
But against in the Damien story, what was Stallone going to provide more than a training montage?
yeah.
Right.
No, I know, like, it's a whole thing with Stallone and the dude that, like, owns Rocky now. So I know he wouldn't have been it. But, like, in theory, if he'd have been in that one scene,
I agree 1,000,000%.
giving him, like, just what he needed to hear, it would have taken Creed 3 to being as good as 2 and 1 for me. I'd have been like, oh, yep, another classic.
With the relationship they built, and with the relationship that Rocky had with Apollo, he wouldn't have not been at that funeral.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what I said. That's what I said in the episode. It's like he don't even have to be at the funeral. A phone call would have been like suffice. Be like, hey,
Yeah.
you okay? You know where I'm at. If you ever need
Hey,
me,
kid,
I'm right
how you
here.
doing?
You know, like just even
I'm with
a
Junior and my
2-minute call,
grandson.
But that something about the funeral, some part, some way, 2-minute scene, 3-minute scene. I agree, Nick. That would have bumped Creed way up there.
I really liked Creed 3.
I'm sure Michael B. Jordan asked, and it was just the behind the scenes disagreement.
No, and that's for sure, and that's very unfortunate. But I'm like, just in theory, if that had happened, it's like he would have been there. But at no point in Scream 6 was I like,
Sydney will help them out.
know what to do.
I
Like,
can't say that. I can't say that. Listen, in my mind, Creed 6 goes to a whole new, like, it goes crazy. It's if in that Courtney Cox scene, if Sydney comes and saves her, and that shit would be crazy. When I was watching it, in my mind, I was like, yo, if she came to like help her, that would be crazy. That was the only time though in this movie. It's a similar thing to me in story wise, like, because we would think about it in 5, they were together, right?
Yeah.
They had like kind of become friends in 5, right? They kind of, they had patched things from their past in 5, and they kind of were friends, and they helped these young kids defeat the bad guys this time, blah blah blah. In 6, because she said she had been talking to her. She's like, yeah, I talked to her. She moved away with her family. She said she's not gonna be involved in this shit no more, right?
Yeah.
In 6, right? So if it's one of those things where when Courtney, it's similar to the funeral scene thing to me. Rocky being in that scene would have did something else for the Creed movie, right? Similar to this, in just the court, not helping the kids, but just in the Courtney Cox scene, because of how it was playing out, and she was running around, and she was holding her own, to be honest. If Sydney shows up in that scene, you cannot tell me the fucking theater wouldn't have erupted in that thing.
If they, I hope it's a year or two, maybe 3 before they announce a Scream 7. But if they get the agreement and they strike something with Nev Campbell, they gotta take the setting to wherever she moved to.
With Patrick,
yeah, and bring back Dempsey.
With her husband Patrick Dempsey, who they name dropped in 5.
Yeah.
It was like something 5 was how like the dynamic between Sidney, Gale, and Dewey was exactly the same as Star Wars. Like Dewey Solo, he's helping the young kids. He doesn't want to. He talks to Gale, Princess Leia, very briefly before getting killed.
In The Force Awakens.
Luke shows up. Luke has to show up and get involved with the shit. That's Sidney. I told myself I was done with this a long time ago, but here I am. Oh, and I'm going to talk to Leia very briefly, and then we're all going to go our separate ways and probably die separately and never all. And like, no,
I got a real question.
What you got, Mary?
I got a question. What's the main girl's name? I always forget the main girl's name in the movie.
Sam.
Sam, she's the big sister, right?
Yeah, Tara is
Yeah.
Wednesday.
Okay, so Sam. Does Sam eventually become a villain, man?
They keep teasing it, and I like the uncertainty.
Are they teasing that she's gonna become a villain? Or are they
Because
teasing
they
that
did
she has
the
what it takes to kill?
they did the Skeet Ulrich de-aging thing one more time, and I like it. I like that she has like these demons that keep creeping up.
But do you guys think these demons are gonna eventually turn her, or do you think this is gonna be like, oh, she always gonna be able to handle whoever puts on the screen mask? Because she has that in her too.
I don't know.
See, I was thinking about, because they tease it, but then they move away from it. So it's like, do they want us to think that she's gonna put on this mask one day, or do they want us to think like, no matter who puts it on, she's always gonna be there and be able to take care of business?
I think that's the ambiguous. They want you to think for yourself, because I take it like one day she might be the killer.
That's how I'm taking it. She's gonna take over the mantle. Her dad, Billy Loomis. She's the one that's gonna take over it. I mean, it's a cool way to keep Skeet Ulrich coming back with these little scenes here and there, but they keep, like Randy said, they keep teasing. Like, I feel like sooner or later she's just gonna embrace it. She's gonna embrace it, and
I don't think they're ever gonna put the mask on her. You know why?
closest.
I don't think they're gonna kill her in a movie. I don't think they will.
That's exactly why she'd never be the killer.
Unless it's in the final Scream movie, like they're ending the franchise and all that.
They're not
That's
gonna
the
kill
way.
those two characters in a movie. That's not gonna happen. That's why I don't think she'll ever put on a mask. I think she's always gonna be this character, because
the creative
not gonna
minds
kill
behind
her.
these Scream movies don't kill anybody.
All I hear in my head is the from The Hangover 2. So, there's a demon in me. And he's like, it's true. There is semen in him. There's a demon in me. That's gonna be Scream 7.
Did they kill the twins now?
Core 4.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Like, when you really do it, like, is it gonna be like a third time's a charm thing for old boy?
Core
Did they kill the sister?
Core 2 doesn't have the same ring to it.
No.
Yeah, it won't be as much. There won't be as much impact now.
Core 4.
No.
It's even like with Dewey. It's like, yeah, it was good and it was sad, and it's like, oh shit. I kind of knew that was going to happen. You're watching the trailers. It was like,
Yeah.
one of them's gonna probably Dewey the man. And that was
girl.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was impactful.
Throughout the
because
first three, we always expected this is the one where Dewey bites it.
Yeah, and he like died twice and came back twice, and I'd say it was like not quite as impactful.
Severed
as it
nerve.
Yeah. What's with that lip? But like,
He
I
got
don't
stabbed in the back. What's with that limp?
The boy twin. I'm not good with names, so. But the boy twin, whatever his name is,
That's his name.
he should have been dead in the first one.
Randy's nephew.
He's had two scenes. He's had two times where he was completely even if the stash from Scream 6 wasn't going to be the staff that killed him, the effects from Scream 5, how he went down,
Yeah.
getting stabbed in 6 should have killed
That's
him,
true.
bro. Like,
That's
you
true.
never healed from what he got in Scream 5.
It's only been a
Never healed
year.
from that.
Here's something else that I thought of, and I don't think I ever really said, but after I watched 6, something about the Scream sequels, particularly like that one, compared to the first one, that's very different, and why I think nothing will ever top the first one. The first one, Drew Barrymore and her boyfriend get killed, and the next day at school, it's all anybody's talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's really tight with her. It's more like, oh yeah, wasn't she in your English? Yeah, she sat behind me in English. It's like, didn't you date her? It's like for like 2 seconds. Nobody, but it's all anybody's talking about, and it sets the events. That one thing sets the events of the rest of the movie in motion. They have a curfew. That's all anybody's talking about. The police are at the school. That's all anybody's talking about. Then not that many people die in 6. The principal, it's like, who gives a shit? Not that many people die in 6 until that last maybe like 45 minutes.
Well, they hung him from the goalpost.
Yeah, they're all at the party, not celebrating any particular thing. It's just their curfew. They can't go out. So it's like, let's have a party. They all start getting killed at the party.
Genius.
Scream 5, people are getting killed left and right. And we're going about life like normal. Like the kid from 13, Wes, what's his name? The blonde-haired kid. He gets
Dylan
killed.
Minette.
Yeah. He and his mom get knifed. Like, it's so mean. It's like not even
Through the neck.
And next scene, they're just having a party. And he's like, this is for Wes. And they're like drinking shots. And I'm like, something about this isn't right. Like, they wouldn't be partying. And
no. Hold on. Time out. No.
Kids these days would not be partying. They would want to have like a vigil or some hippie shit.
All the they're like throwing the party. And I'm like, wouldn't you not be doing this? Especially if you just had the
bro, they wouldn't. No, listen. At our time, when you were watching Scream 1, right? When you were watching Scream 1, the original, when we were growing up, the time frame it was.
Went out and bought a caller ID.
Now, right? If someone died in your school or whatever, everybody would be talking about it. It would be, it would be a big deal. It would be right? But in this day and age, let's be honest. Things are happening all the time now, and then the next day, people are just moving on with it.
I feel like people...
What it is.
I feel like in this day and age, though, people are desensitized.
Yeah.
Like you say, man.
People are desensitized to this now. Bro, there's school shootings happening and stuff, and then the next day, they put out a little thing for them in an area where they were important, but school still goes on. Like, that's how it is now.
But it's like the whole thing with 5 is like, it's specifically happening to their group of friends. It's like, and Ortega gets stabbed, and it's like a whole big deal. Then her sister comes back to town. Then it's like a big enough deal that they all get together.
Right.
And then, like, Dylan Minette gets stabbed, and his mom, the chief of police, gets stabbed. It's like, at one point, wouldn't you be like, okay, I'm probably a target. We probably shouldn't all be together in a party atmosphere in the house from 25 years ago. This seems like a bad...
In their defense, that's where she left her inhaler, though.
Huh?
Touché.
That's where Jenna Ortega left her inhaler. Her spare inhaler was there. She had to be back there.
Like, I can't believe this worked. I like Scream 5.
I like 5.
But you look at, you have to compare it to Halloween Kills.
No, you can't. You can't compare it to the damn Halloween Kills.
Bruh.
Like, they get weird, and I'm like, no, I don't like
Halloween died.
Evil dies tonight. I hate to admit it. Halloween Ends being so bad gave me new appreciation for Halloween Kills.
Kills kicked ass. Like, Kills wasn't
it does.
great. Like, it kicked it. He killed Halloween.
Halloween
Kills.
did definitely kill.
Yeah, and I
told
that to Randy too. It was like, after watching Halloween Ends, what I tell you, Randy, Halloween Kills moved up the charts for me because, oh man,
it did for me too.
Those first two were incredible.
Yeah.
The original Halloween 1 and 2, Halloween. See what made the original 2 Halloweens, like the original and Halloween 2, it happens all on the same night. That's what was great. That they didn't have to retcon the original Halloween 2. It all happened. They could have continued from that point on.
That's why H2O is my timeline.
I agree. I agree.
And what the fuck was even happening in Kills? Like, what the hell? Like, who wrote that?
Ends.
It's not that aggressively bad of a movie. It's just like, who thought that?
It ends, right?
Ends.
That's what I mean.
I can't wait. Final thoughts on the Scream segment. Cannot wait for Nick to sit through these David Gordon Green Exorcist movies. When we come back, we're going to talk spoilers on John Wick Chapter 4.
You have things normies get psyched for. John Wick.
See, now, like, this last block starts with just Nick noise.
That's fine. Fix it in post.
I think
I don't fix shit in post.
John Wick 4 is pure violence ecstasy. It is fantastic.
That's the quote for the slipcover.
It is. It is from beginning to end, just go, go, go.
But
The movie is what, like 2 hours and 49 minutes or something like that?
ish.
It does not even feel that.
It don't.
Feel it at all.
Pacing was great.
And it was, I will say this. Would I like to see a 5? Absolutely. But if it does not happen, they ended it in a perfect way.
Perfect ending to a quadrilogy. Can I spit something? Can I spit a controversial question out there though? Am I the only one that has it ranked 4th of 4?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're the only one. What?
I'm thinking, yeah.
I'm thinking.
Hey, listen. This one was either the best or second best out of the 4.
I think I go 1. I think, because I can't see my list right now. I think I go 1, 3, 2, 4.
Oh, 2, 4, 1.
I got 1, 4, 2, 3.
I got 3, 4, 1. Maybe even 3, 4, 2, 1. I love the first. It's not my favorite.
No, 2 was like when I was like, oh, like we got this. Like 2 was like that for me.
I might go 1. I might go 3, 1, 2, 4.
I think it's 2, 4, 1, 3.
But I also have all 4 of them as 5-star movies.
Listen, but I was about to say that too. Because I see Nick's face when I rank them like that. When I rank them, I'm not saying that none of them is. All of them are 5.
Exactly.
5 out of 5.
Something has to be last.
So exactly something. Even it could be the greatest movie in the world, but if you're ranking this movie's better, somebody's got to be last. Somebody's got to be first. You're not saying the last one is the worst one. It's just
least favorite.
You gotta, yeah.
With 1, 2 being last. I think 3 and 4 to me were above 1 and 2. But also they're all like 4-star movies to me at least. But 3 with the dog, burying the dogs, I lost my mind over that. Like in the theater, I was like, this fucking rules. And then when I rewatched it before 4, I had the same feeling, which is kind of rare. But I was rewatching, I was like, oh, yes. So I don't know. It's either 3 or 4. I've got 3 in them, but maybe not.
The fact that we all have different orders of the list tells you how
great this franchise is.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, yo, listen, this movie was insane. And anytime I talk about it, I cannot start talking about this movie without addressing that they let him fall down the fucking steps 3 different times. And he didn't just fall down the steps and then he hit a little slab and stopped.
He kept going.
That
motherfucker flipped.
When I watched it in the movies, he was falling down the steps, right? And I'm like, damn, that gotta hurt. He hit the slab. In my mind, I'm like, okay, he's gonna stop. He's gonna hit it, and he's gonna stop. He hit the rail, rolled again, right? I'm like, okay, his momentum ain't as fast as it was the last time. He's gonna hit this slab, he's gonna stop. Bro, he hit that slab, stood for a second, and rolled. I was like, damn. I said it out loud in the theater. I was like, damn.
But that's the thing is, it's happening, and that was basically the comical aspect of it. Like, damn, this guy's rolling forever.
Remember the movie Hot Rod with Andy Samberg? He did like a thing, like where he fell down the hill and then grabbed something and then stood up and then fell and he was like, shit! It's just like, it was exactly.
Listen, it's honestly, it is scientifically impossible for him to fall down the fucking steps like that and not once hit where he breaks his neck. It's not possible. You can break your neck falling down 5 steps, bro.
Welcome to the John Wick universe.
Yo, that shit was insane.
I got about 5, 6 steps upstairs, and I'm like, if I fell down those steps,
I'd die.
I'm dead.
6 steps, it would hurt. I could die.
Yo, while we're talking about this, let me tell you something. There's nothing more traumatic than falling down fucking steps because you're at the mercy of it's nothing you can do. You're just on the ride.
I was like 3, 4 years old in my grandma's crib. She had a staircase, and I rolled down that shit. I'm 37 years old, and that memory's still in here.
Bro,
Yeah.
it's nothing more traumatic than that shit. As an adult, I felt like I have steps. Randy, you've been to my house. I have steps. As an adult, I've missed one of them bitches and was falling. The problem is that shit hurts so bad. But while you're falling, you can't do nothing.
No.
It's nothing. Your momentum
man.
won't allow you to check anything. You just gotta wait till it's over. That's it.
I'll tell you this right now. And we're in my house. To come down to the movie room, I got to go down the steps. It's basically a rebuilt basement, right? After watching that scene, I tell myself, one foot in front of the other, in front of the other, in front of the other.
Hold that fucking rail.
Oh, man.
Then they did it again, bro. Then they did it again in the movie. He fell down. Yo, it was like a 3-minute scene of him falling down
Oh, my
the
God.
But he only had 3 minutes to get up to where the duel was.
It was insane.
Bro, Donnie
I
Yen
will
snuck
say
in
this,
that
though.
bitch. John, I'm gonna need
I
you
will
to get
say-
up these fucking steps.
Yep. And great segue, Randy, because Donnie Yen to me stole the fucking
Best new character in the movie.
Stole the movie. I mean, John Wick is John Wick. We get that.
My
But, man,
only
I
slight.
I argue that John Wick was the 4th best character in this movie, though.
I agree.
I can argue that he was the 4th best character. Yo, dude with the dog was incredible in this movie, and Homeboy's daughter,
Yeah,
you know, once he died, or whatever,
Rule.
was
yeah.
incredible. Yo, and you can argue.
My only slight to the Donnie Yen character in John Wick is that he is basically a variant of his character from Rogue One. He was a blind badass in Star Wars.
It's always blind.
But you got to credit the makers of this movie for saying, "Yo, he did that really fucking well. Let's go get the guy we know gonna do it well." Right?
Yeah.
Let's
But
not try to new.
They got the Ballerina movie coming out, which, like, whatever. It's a spinoff. Like, yeah, I'll go see it. But just watching 4, there are at least 2, like, those 2 characters, dude with the dog and the guy's daughter. Both of them could have spin-off movies, and I'd be
Absolutely.
Facts.
I hope they do. I hope they both get movies.
And they could. Not that I need.
And let's
spin-off. I
not
don't
forget,
franchise. and
we getting the
films,
prequel in September.
Yep. And the funny thing about it is,
Yeah.
people forget it. My second favorite character is Hiroki Sanada, man. He was
Yeah.
the new Mortal Kombat. I mean, anything him and Donnie Yen are in, I'm in. And just that scene when they were in Tokyo,
Yeah.
and he's
The
running
Continental.
his version of the Continental. Hey, man, he's no joke. Especially that scene when Donnie Yen and him tells him, he says, "Get up and just leave with your daughter," and he refuses to. Man, that was badass. I mean,
I was
that
like,
scene.
man, I wanted him to. I'm like, bro, don't fight, dude, man. Just
That's
let
what
him.
I was like. Don't
I
do it.
knew what it was. I knew if he fought him, I knew what it was. Like,
It was like, yeah, all these dudes coming as, like, these men or whatever. Like, it's shit. It was like, Donnie Yen's here. Ah, shit. It's like, one of them, he's probably going to die.
And what I like about all the characters too is there's conflict within them, but there's also loyalty and pride. In the sense of Donnie Yen is a good friend of John Wick. He's a good friend of Hiroki Sanada at the hotel, but he has to do this
it's
to
Count
protect
Vincent.
his daughter.
Yeah.
So he doesn't want to fight. These guys are they know each other. They're all friends. This is just part of the business. And you could even tell when he said, take your dad, go with your daughter. And when he said no, he had loyalty to John. It same thing with at the end with him and Keanu Reeves. Come on, let's get this done. And all that. I like that conflict within all the characters in the sense of
But it's
I don't want to fight you, but I got to do it.
Yeah.
But they fought because of the respect too. Because he
Yeah.
was like, Obi fought the fact that he did. That he was like, no, I run this Continental. This is what I have to do. This is my job. And then he respected him enough to fight him, like straight up. Is that different kind of respect that they have for each other? Who at the end got caught up with the shot though? Because as soon as that part happened, I was like, oh, John didn't shoot. Like,
I caught that right away.
The wide shot, it was obvious John didn't shoot. So it's tripped me out for a month how Bill Skarsgård didn't realize it.
But it was good.
I just wish they would have had Clancy Brown do a little bit more.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. I wish they had Clancy Brown do a little bit more.
After watching any movie that he isn't even in, I'm like, if I would have changed this movie, I would have had Clancy Brown do a little more. It's like he wasn't even in
could
it.
use
It's
some
like
Clancy Brown.
Yeah, it's like
I would have put him in the movie. Do a little.
But no, that cast, that crew. I mean, like I said, if they continue it, great for us. I would love to see that.
They could.
If they don't,
Yeah.
perfect ending.
They could easily, like Lionsgate, hey guys, 2028, John Wick 5, let's go. They could easily just be like, okay, the gravestone was just a decoy. John's out living his life, doing his thing, trying to get some peace. And I want one more movie where he just picks off the high table.
Yeah, oh man, I'm down for that.
If they prequel John Wick and like got it like it was a younger version of him.
I don't want to see Timothy Chalamet as John Wick.
Nah, hell with that.
You wouldn't want him to do prequel.
No.
Austin Butler.
I don't. It's like that's where I'm like torn. It's like I don't need for things to be like milked.
Universe.
Like you said, mental TV series. I'm like, whatever. Like I'll probably watch it, but like, Ballerina, maybe. But it's like certain things, and like if a spinoff makes sense, I'm like, oh hell yeah. And like I said, there's characters in 4. I'm like, hell yeah. I want to see where they go next. I don't need it.
The dude with the dog and the Japanese continental daughter.
I just want to know.
Shit,
I just want confirmation what she did with Donnie Yen.
Yeah, that's what I want to see. But also, like the Continental is a 3-part mini. It's like a mini series, a 3-part event.
Yeah, it's like
and
3 hour-and-a-half
version of
episodes.
Winston, how the Continental began, and from what I'm hearing, Ballerina takes place between John Wick 3 and 4. Keanu Reeves is also in the movie, so he'll make a cameo or something in there as well.
Do I need it?
No.
Like, not
Do
really.
I want it? Yeah.
But it's like, I mean, like, they're picking up dude's daughter and her getting back at Donnie Yen, or her finding where Donnie Yen is.
I'm down for that.
I would watch that today.
So here's my thing. Where does your mind run in the sense of, we all seen the post-credit scene, Donnie Yen is there wanting to give flowers to his daughter, who's playing the violin. And then you got Sonata's daughter going to get revenge, because she did say, if you don't kill him, I will. I don't see him dying. He could hear things from like a mile away. He ain't going to hear that. You know what I mean? Like, it's just...
Not
you know what I'm saying? Like, he just killed an army of people.
No. But there's a different... I think the scene explain like he's only vulnerable to one thing, and that's his daughter, right?
Yep.
He turns off all his other senses for her, right? Right? She kills him in that scene. For one, she has all the skills. She's angry, and when you in these movies, the John Wick movies, when you're revenge is the thing that's pushing you. She kills him. He's not mad at her. He told her years from now when you're, you know what I'm saying? She's ready for him. He's not
ready for her. Yeah, and not only that, is what I like about it too is that she has skill. She can fight. That's what I like about it too. It's not like just some random daughter or person just trying to kill somebody.
A whole movie about her getting ready for that moment. Somebody telling her, "This is Donnie Yen. You're not ready," and she could be like, "Well, I'm gonna get ready." That could be the movie. I'd go see that today.
Well, go fuck your mother. I am ready.
Not need to be milked, but like that could be. I don't know, like
for sure.
But I think him being in that moment, feeling relieved, like I could finally be with my daughter. He's completely tunnel vision.
His guard was
that
down.
Moment.
Yeah, I can see that.
I think she kills him in that moment.
Yeah.
But I'm like Nick. Am I intrigued about the Continental and the Ballerina? Yes, I'm intrigued.
I'm not.
I'm not like
Nick. You're gonna watch it.
I will say
gonna watch it,
but it's
watch it. But
I won't say it's obligation. That's not the word I'm looking for.
Yes.
The word I'm going to use. It's like there's like it's kind of like going to see Transformers here in June. It looks pretty good. Bumblebee was good. but I've been burned by the Transformers movies forever. Those movies suck. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I'm gonna sit here. Those movies fucking suck. There's 2 of them that are watchable. All the other ones suck. And I'm like, now
True
we're getting
indeed.
like 5 or 6 or 7 of them or whatever. I'm not that excited for it, but I'm gonna go see it. I'm gonna rewatch the old ones, like, out of like obligation. I'm gonna be like, all right, it's the next Transformers.
I will say this.
But it is
God,
kind
it's
of like
gonna be a tough week.
I will say this.
Yeah,
I'm definitely watching the Ballerina for Anna the Artist. That's pretty much.
Hey.
You know, but at the end of the day, it's like the Continental. I'm intrigued, but it's like it's not like must-watch TV when it drops. I'll watch it. I'll stream it whenever when all 3 episodes are out. Maybe I'll just watch it all one shot. You know what I mean? Like it's
like instant spinoff. Like easily you could keep going with that storyline. At no point am I like, how did they start the Continental? Like, how did they start the hotel? It's like, I don't really care.
And sometimes, and you're right.
Dying that, like,
and sometimes the mystery of things and not knowing how it began, or just the mystery of it, makes it even better. Like, I don't need to know how it started. The Continentals, that's what it is. I would love to think about what, be cool, but just that mystery of how it started builds that aura.
Like, talking about, like, Rogue One. It's like if Rogue One had been about them building the Death Star. They're like, how do we make it look like a planet? They'll think it's a moon. It's like, I don't give a fuck why they picked why it was the way it was. It was cool. That's not what Rogue One was about. That's why Rogue One was good. Had Rogue One been about that, it would have been stupid. It would have been like, I don't need any of this. How did it get the power to blow up a whole planet? It's like, I don't care. That's what made it cool, is that it did have the power and they had to match it. So it's like
can I tell y'all a scene that I did love in this movie? I didn't love the whole traffic fight between the car scene. I didn't really love that. I felt like it was just weird to me that like it had cool parts to it, but that was the one scene that I was like,
yo,
this ain't on par with the step scene. This ain't on par with the Japanese Continental scene. This ain't on par with the scene at the end where they shoot. That was the one scene that I was like, okay, this is cool.
I'm gonna hit y'all with a proud host moment. 110 episodes. This is the first time one of y'all, including Eric, got the conversation back on track. Merritt, that's why you my brother.
I feel like I do that all the time.
You are the reason why the conversation veers off course all the time.
The best scene, though, I think the best scene is the scene when the camera pans up.
Yes, I love that shit. I love that shit.
Like a damn video game, and he has those incandescent round, like he's just blowing people up with put like this: John Wick ain't Hamilton. It ain't gonna win Oscars, but
it's action
for
Hamilton.
that cinematography and all that, man, it needs to be nominated for something. Because that scene alone was dope.
No, bro, I had motherfuckers at work ask me, who was that fat guy? He could really get his legs up there.
Scott Adkins.
Scott Adkins stole his shit.
Oh, man.
I was like, bro, that's a real martial artist. He was in a fat suit. He gets busy.
Was the most Oscar-worthy John Wick movie.
Yeah, I agree with that.
There had to have been great, like, art design and shit.
Yeah.
Like, they had for, like, the Continental and all that stuff.
The cinematography in this movie was amazing.
Cinematography choices were all great. The stunts, even though those aren't an Oscar, it's like the stunts, every time they went up themselves, it's like, this one, there were still moments. Like, the whole stairs, we keep going back to the stairs, but it was like the whole stair fight sequence was like, how the fuck did they choreograph this? And then they were like, all right, then you're all the way back down and just start over.
For 20 minutes.
That's insane. Yeah, it just, the car scene part is the only part to me that it just didn't feel like it matched up to everything. Everything else, I was like, oh, all this shit is insane. I've never seen nothing like that.
I feel like I heard Was it on? Do y'all get like Perry's picks when you go to the theater?
Yeah.
Perry. Was it her? I feel like it was somebody said that car thing was
Straw Hat Goofy.
Maybe it was Straw Hat Goofy.
I'm just talking shit.
Like
I don't know.
They said that the car scene was added later. Like they were gonna do something, and they were like, "We need something." What if there was car? It was like
because that's kind of how it felt to me. Like it felt like it didn't fit like everything else did. Right?
Yeah.
Like it felt like a kamikaze scene. Like it was like this shit is just outrageous for no reason, type of thing. That's how it felt. Because it felt like he could have got to the stair scene without the car scene. You know what I mean? Like it felt like he still could have got there without that.
Yeah. But I will say this about this franchise. I mean, yes, one is one. We understand, and like I said, not that it's bad. And like you said, everybody out of the four of us, we have different orders on which one is number one, which one is at the bottom. But each one came out of nowhere. Number 2 topped 1. Number 3 topped 2. This one topped them all, and it's the franchise just keeps making more and more and more money from the previous one.
Yeah.
I mean, like we all know, at the end of the day, money talks, bullshit walks. You know what I mean? And it's like, I understand what Chad Stahelski said. You know, maybe they don't do a fifth one. They're not sure. Keanu Reeves says he's in. If Chad is in, and if the people, enjoy it and like it, he's down for a fifth one. But we'll see. My thing is I would love to see a fifth one, me personally.
But two shock value comments real quick. First one, Keanu Reeves as John Wick. Keanu Reeves John Wick movies top the Matrix movies. That's the first one.
Oh yeah.
Overall,
as a franchise.
As a franchise, yeah, for sure.
As a franchise. I still have the first Matrix as Keanu's best movie.
Yeah, I agree there.
But like franchise.
Yeah.
And
franchise, yeah.
This was one of the best trilogies ever, and now is one of the best quads ever.
It's the best quadrilogy ever. Like
I didn't really go down a list of quads, but
there's not many.
Definitely gotta be at the top. It gotta be.
Planet of the Apes has a chance next year, but with Matt Reeves not directing, I just don't think it's gonna be as good as the first 3.
I don't think the legacy, even if they are all great, I don't know if the legacy of the Planet of the Apes movies is as like big as John Wick already.
Yeah, they don't get talked about like they should.
No, they don't.
But even now, if you take just 3 out of 3, the first 3 for John Wick and the 3 for Planet of the Apes, I still put John Wick
all
ahead
5s. All 6 of those movies, I give 5s.
Yeah, you know what I mean. I still have Wick ahead of them, but
yeah, Toy Story. That's always my go-to. It's like the Toy Story trilogy was the best thing ever. It was like the best. Like you put that up against like Star Wars and Lord of the Rings, and I'd still have to be like,
don't forget Indiana Jones at one point.
And then they did Toy Story 4, and it was like,
yeah,
God damn it. It wasn't bad, but like, God damn it. You're like, you ruined.
Is that the one with the fucking bear? Is that the one with the bear?
Three's the bear.
That's the third one. The 3 is the bear.
3 is the bear. Okay.
4.
A perfect trilogy of films.
4 is Woody questioning his purpose, going against character, and making Buzz a fucking idiot.
Yeah. I mean, 4 is good. 4 is a really good movie, but like, it was.
I think if they would have ended it at 3,
bro, compared to the first 3 Toy Stories, Toy Story 4 is Brave or Monsters University.
Yeah, like it was the hat on a hat. That's what they call it. Like when they did Toy Story 3 was like, I wanted to stand up and just slow clap in the theater. Like, come on, y'all, they did it. And it was sad and it was happy. And I'm crying. Nobody died. You're crying. Everybody's laughing. Then Toy Story 4 was like, what if we did it again? It was like, I don't need it again. We already did it once.
So I got a question for the 3 of you.
Get ready for Toy Story 5.
The way it ended, do you guys want to see it continue?
No.
Or just leave it as is?
Is this Toy Story or John Wick?
Man, we're talking about John Wick.
They could John Wick 5, and I'd be like, yes.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I know I hope that I said it because we've been talking 25 minutes and I don't remember, but obviously, spoilers for John Wick Chapter 4. It
Whatever.
appears that John Wick dies. Winston and the Bowery King are standing at a tombstone. John Wick, whatever he said he wanted on his tombstone, but it could easily be a decoy. If Lionsgate has said they want 5, so it's just up to Stileski and Keanu whenever they're ready.
I want it to end the way that they ended it in 4, where he dies and he's with his wife now. He accomplished everything he needed to accomplish.
That's what I'm saying.
I want that. But if they gave me another movie, I'm like, okay, John
exactly.
Wick 5.
It's a perfect ending.
Yeah, it ended perfect. I don't want them to bring him back and fuck up what we
Cash
already
grab.
just called the best.
Exactly.
Story 4.
Exactly.
It's like the Toy
I will
Story.
say this. I
John Wick.
want that final shot that they had when he's on the stairs and he's about to start leaning over. When the sun comes out and shines on him, if they could put that on a poster, that would be like the perfect
This
shot.
scene.
And it's like, bro, like
that is Michael Jordan in Utah.
Keanu-
Michael Jordan, he should have never played again after that, bro.
Keanu Reeves was just on the Smartless podcast. Dude's 58. At some point, you got to start doing like old man, the bucket list type shit. Feel me?
Tom Cruise would.
Bro, he be putting in work though. He be working with the stuntmen and do the training, and it's like it's insane what the stuff he does. I get a paper cut and I'm crying. This guy's 58 years old and he's killing it.
If Han
also
is
got the
still
bread to afford that shit.
If Han is still around in the Fast and the Furious after all that shit, there's nothing
Hey, we're a month away from that.
that make me be.
Fast and Furious is ridiculous, though, bro.
Yeah, that's what. Like, you know,
It's not
there's
not.
nothing in John Wick 5 that would make me be like, oh no way, this is absurd. It's like, okay, you thought he died, but he actually didn't die. He's just.
It could be they could have buried a casket full of guns,
Yeah, I'd be like, okay,
Oh, that'd be dope.
right?
That'd be dope.
that's fine.
I listen. Like I think that as human beings, we get in a habit of like, oh, it's great, give me more. But the reality is, the more you get, at some point, it's not going to be
I
great.
agree.
The potential for it to be trash is more realistic.
Because we're human. We do that. You're right, man. We do that. It's like, give me more. And then the minute one is okay, then the next one gets, okay, they should have ended it over here.
Yeah.
I did it with the Flash. I'm guilty of it. The Flash was so good, man. The
Bruh.
show.
I'm still watching it, yeah.
Everybody,
And then,
every normie I
Like,
talk
that's
to
what-
about Fast and Furious says it should have ended when Paul Walker passed. They're not wrong.
7.
They're not wrong.
I'm not. Listen, I would not complain if we got a John Wick 5. I would not complain. I'd be like, hell yeah, I'm in the movies. Let me get my ticket. But if you're asking me, should they do another one? Nah, bro. They should just the perfect form. Because listen, it's gonna take. I think it will be a long ass time before there's another like series or whatever this is franchise before there's another franchise and we're like, is it fucking with John Wick, yo? So it'll be a long time before we get to that.
And people forget. At one point, they had the movie, and both movies were done. The Matrix, the new Matrix, and John Wick 4 was slated to drop the same
May of 2021.
So this movie's been done for a while, and they just pushed it back because I was thinking about doing a Keanu double feature, watching Matrix, then John Wick 4. So this movie's been ready to go for a while. So they could be BSing us and saying, nah, we'll see whatever. But also, it's making money. You know how studios are. They could probably have already an outline of what 5 could be because they had time to start working on it already. So I mean, it's funny how, The Matrix came out, a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago. This was supposed to drop the same day in May, and they decided to push it out and all that. But at the end of the day, I mean, I agree with you, Merritt. Is I'm kind of torn. It's the perfect ending, and I don't know if I want them to mess with that, and or if they do a fifth one, I'm in. And I just like he's just Keanu Reeves is just so good, and each time they add characters, they're better and better. Like I mean, in 3 you had Halle Berry. I mean, come on, it's Halle Berry, you know, and it's now you have Donnie Yen, you know. If anything, like Nick said, I wouldn't mind if they did spin-offs about those characters.
See, the thing, narratively, John Wick is free. So what could they do that would bring him back? That he would need to go back to that world?
What more do I want John Wick?
You know what I'm saying? We gonna kill his dog and steal his car again? No.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's my point, though. He wanted revenge for what happened, right?
He got it.
He got it. So the story is complete. Now, at this point, you're just bringing him back because.
It's like Nick, did you ever watch Californication?
Not really.
No, same. I never seen that.
Well, like the David Duchovny arc was seasons 1 through 4. 5, 6, and 7 were all just let's keep going. And they all felt like they thought it was the last season and had to come up with something on the spot.
That's Orange is the New Black was that because like it was a
book
that real pipe whatever wrote, and so that's what like the first season was like her account of being in the prison, and then they just kept going. They were has to stay in prison, otherwise there's no show. I was like, Jesus, she's been in prison for like 5 years for some like stupid shit. It was a good show, but by the time it ended, I was like, damn, like we're still in.
Right.
No, that shit fell off in the riot season.
Kinda, yeah.
That show was done when Pusey died.
Facts.
When she died, that shit was like done.
Unfair, yeah. And then like the next season, when I think of that like riot season, not to talk about Orange is the New Black, but when I think about the next season was like the riot should have been angry. It should have been like Barry is now. I don't know if anybody's watching Barry.
I'm 2
like
seasons behind.
Barry has had a tonal shift. There should have been a tonal shift in Orange is the New Black. And when I think of that riot season, I think of it being very silly. There was something about Cheetos. Remember they had hot Cheetos and they were like burnt Cheetos.
They should have been more angry about Hussein.
Yeah. Because what's her name? What's the Danielle?
Tasty.
Tasty. She's the only one that was pissed off.
Yeah, and it ruined her life. It's a good show. I like the show.
It was. I liked it too.
But I miss it. Like when it was over, it was kind of like Shameless. Even though it fell off, I was like, I miss it.
Shameless fell off when Fiona left.
Yep, I agree with that.
Again, it's like Scream. It was like there were things happening where it was like, why isn't Fiona here? Her brother's getting gay married. This is like Fiona should be all over this.
Yeah.
Shameless kind of reminds me of Weeds a little bit. Like Weeds was solid, and then he just
like Merritt knows. Upon initial watch, Weeds was like kind of like quirky great. Upon rewatch, it does not hold up.
I haven't rewatched them. I own them all, seen them.
But they're talking about doing like a continuation sequel show. I'll watch it. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it'll be good.
It's like I did.
How crazy is this though? We're all old enough to remember or know, at least know, but remember when The Matrix first came out, how fucking
game changer,
it was, and how great the first 2 or 3 of them were, like how great it was, and it's like okay, it ain't no way in hell Keanu Reeves does anything better than this. And for him to come back and do something else better than
Keanu Sans,
The Matrix, bro.
I really
do The Matrix.
Keanu Reeves' reputation was that he was not a great actor.
Yeah,
that's why this
I recently saw Dracula. I can attest.
Like
what was the other one? Speed. He did Speed.
Speed was fire.
Speed was great.
Speed is amazing.
And quick conversation.
Whoa.
But it's like
And Constantine, right?
Matthew Perry wrote a book last year and made a joke in the book about like somebody not being a good actor, and he referred to them as Keanu Reeves, and a bunch of people got pissed about it. They were like, "Who the fuck are you?"
Yeah, he had to redact that out of his book.
Could
now.
you be any more of an asshole?
It's probably something he's been saying for decades, and just assumed that everyone was on the same page.
Yeah.
Because that be the reputation was like Keanu Reeves is not great.
But you can't talk shit about Keanu Reeves when he can say, "I got the make and John Wick, bitch." Like, what do you mean? That's crazy.
He's better than any. He's as good as anybody when he's in his lane. Like Neo is his lane. John Wick could not be more his lane. Like he's not. He doesn't have to emote super crazy. Dracula was not his lane.
No, not at all.
No,
just not his.
He did Constantine too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then thinking about making a second one. And also think about this.
I don't think James Gunn's gonna
comparing
push that
acting chops to this actor. You have Harrison Ford known for Han Solo and Indiana Jones.
Jack Ryan.
Keanu Reeves is known for Neo and now John Wick. There ain't many actors who get not just one, but two iconic character franchise roles. It's
Rocky
rare.
and Rambo.
Hold on. Samuel Jackson, you guys what does Samuel Jackson have?
Like 72.
Because first of all, Samuel Jackson was destined to be Nick Fury. I think they actually drew the character to be Samuel Jackson.
Yeah.
So
they did.
He got that one. I think that he has another one though. That's like I just
Jules.
can't think of it.
Jules is the most
Pulp Fiction. Jules.
rememberable.
Oh yeah, Jules.
Mr. Glass.
But he also, Mr. Glass. Yeah. So Samuel Jackson has a few.
Yep.
But I don't know if we.
They're always like saying "motherfucker" and "lay my vengeance upon thee." It's like they're usually doing some kind of quote from Pulp Fiction, even if they don't realize him in Pulp Fiction.
I don't think we would hold his up with what Keanu Reeves had with The Matrix and John Wick.
See, and the thing about John Wick too is, I'll be honest with you. When I first heard Keanu Reeves and John Wick, I was like, I'm not watching this. It just didn't, like, the trailer didn't do it for me at the time. The trailer, and they really didn't promote it much, from what I can remember.
I think I watched the first John Wick at home. I do. I think I did.
So did I.
I don't remember promotion. I just remember it came out a month after the first Equalizer.
Yeah, see, and that's the thing is, I don't remember promotion or much about it. I think I saw like a commercial about it once, and I was like, whatever.
Then
I heard word of mouth, and then I just blind bought it at Best Buy.
Oh no, I saw it at the theater.
I was like, this shit is dope.
October 2014 was kind of legendary. Like, Fury came out, Nightcrawler came out, John Wick came out. I want to say Gone Girl came out.
Yeah, it was October.
Crazy.
October 2014 was crazy.
I hate that time period. But yeah, those were good movies. And Dumb and Dumber 2.
That was November, ass. And that movie sucks.
Yeah. Oh, good times. Good times.
No.
Good.
If we're going into November, we talk about Big Hero 6 and Interstellar, and then we stop.
Dumb and Dumber.
Absolutely not.
It's incredible.
Which one?
Dumb and Dumber 2.
Big Hero 6. Baymax.
That shit was incredible.
They should have just made a second movie.
Technically a Marvel movie.
Series.
The TV series was so good. Wasn't it really? Did you watch the Baymax show?
Wasn't it like 5 little shorts?
Yeah. Oh, it's so good. I wanted 12 of them. Like, I was like, bro, I could watch this all day. This is so good. It comes together at the end. But yeah, it just made me think that like they should have just made another movie.
I wouldn't hate it.
Yeah, Big Hero 6 definitely deserved another movie.
Yeah.
So, final thoughts on John Wick?
Dope.
Can't get any better than that spot ever.
Yep. Dope.
Agreed. Obviously, next episode is going to be Guardians of the Galaxy spoilers. Be ready for that. Nick's here, so he knows what we're going to talk about. I'll be back to wrap it up. Yo, 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 yo. As long as I can talk, I'ma rap and I won't stop, ho. Yo might spin high, but I rob low. Y'all outsiders, soda pop, pony boy, mine's Harlan Nash. I ignore the bitches that y'all will smash. Red shirt, cause I'm fresh, man, and I don't play. You invite people over, but they don't stay, cause you whack. Always want to attack. Then play the victim like, why don't nobody get my back? All of your rapping be averagely trash to me. I be savagely attacking beats in the haberdashery. Motherfuckers too worried what they status read instead of obsessively molding how nice the craft will be. The flow is ice cold, got me feeling like Trey Young. Just put a of in between them two ones and chill until the next episode.